Good morning, everybody. Grace and peace to you from our Lord Jesus Christ and all the saints here in Central California. I am sleepy. If I don't look sleepy, yes, I do. I don't need to worry about that. I am sure I look sleepy. I'm going to talk in this week's video a little bit about the whole concept of, here they call it standby. The rest of the world calls it being on call. I'm going to talk about it because I got called last night. So what kinds of things can, if you're getting, if you've got a job and you're on call, which most network admin jobs these days are, you're expected to be on call. For most people, you're going to be in a salaried position. So, they pay you a certain salary per year and they expect you to be available as needed on demand. And that's how my last job was. Now, luckily for me, I work for a hospital that is owned by a county. So I fall under civil service rules. And so I get paid if they call me. I like the way they used to do it. They don't do it that way anymore, so I'm not even going to talk about that. But basically, if I get called in the middle of the night, I get paid overtime for that time that I work on that issue in the middle of the night. What's also nice is when I'm on standby, which is every other week, there are two of us that actually take care of the infrastructure standby. There's actually two different groups that are on standby. There's the applications group and the infrastructure group. And infrastructure, if you don't know, I'm sure most of you do, but infrastructure comprises server and network. Now, the desktop PCs and all that all comes under desktop support, or what we call the service desk here. And they're here 24/7 anyway to answer phones, reset passwords. So if there's a desktop emergency, which there rarely is, and usually if it's a desktop emergency, it's been triggered by an infrastructure emergency, though not always. So again, now circling back to the infrastructure on-call group, which I'm a part of. There are two of us. So right across the way behind that cubicle is where my partner Leo sits. And he's the server guy. He's in charge of servers. And I, of course, am in charge of the network. However, when we're on call, you could be called to answer or work on issues for either one of those items. Luckily for Leo, I've worked on servers many times in my career. So if I get a call, like last night, which I will get to, I promise. If I get a call that has to do with the server, 9 times out of 10, I can take care of it. Also, 9 times out of that 9 times, it's usually just they need a server rebooted. And it's just funny because in my last job, where I was more of a server admin, I was both. I was a server admin first, then became a network admin, but still had my hand in both at my last job. The supervisor of the infrastructure group never thought it was acceptable to reboot a server to fix a problem. You could restart a service, but not the whole server. Here, they're just, reboot it. Okay. So that's where he gets off lucky, because I can take care of most server problems that come in. There's a few I can't, and some that I just, if there's a emergency need to add RAM to a virtual server, Could I figure it out? Yeah, probably. It's not that VMware is not that hard, really. It's all GUI driven. I'm sure I could find it. But I would just call Leo and say, hey, dude, we've got a server issue here, and they say morning RAM needs to be added. Can you take care of it? And he would. Of course he would, because then he gets the overtime pay to do that work. So circling back to last night, I got called. Here's my timesheet. You can see I was called at 1:30 in the morning to reboot a server. And I really don't know why they don't give the end users the ability to do this. We have servers for everything, but we have one particular server that runs our pneumatic tube system. Yes, we've still got a pneumatic tube system. So we got these cartridges that are about this big. They open them up, put blood samples in them, tissue samples, whatever. Amputated fingers or toes, whatever. They'll put them in this pneumatic cylinder and put it in the tube system, press a button, sends it to the pathology lab. It's mostly used for blood samples. So we've got a blood draw station right over there that, as soon as they take a blood sample, they get enough of them, they put them in this tube carrier and then send it to the lab. So this tube server, it's got a web front end, so the guys that monitor it, they'll pull up that web page and they can see a map of the entire tube system, which is fairly complex. I'm surprised, because they have multiple tube stations on each floor of the hospital, multiple tube stations out in the outpatient clinics, and just scattered here. Got a tube station out there at the new surgery clinic. So I want to say we've got close to 10, 15 miles of tube network, whatever. So this server is the thing that monitors progress of the little cylinders through the tubes, and also controls the gates and the vacuum that runs it and all that good stuff. So they call it a transaction. So you can watch a transaction, which is a cylinder, from the originating station, and you can just watch it on this map as it goes from gate to gate to gate. This diverter, that diverter is something that moves it over to a different tube, all the way back to the lab. Apparently it's a fairly buggy system. So I got called last night. Says, hey, the central plant, I'll get to who the central plant is in a second. Central plant is called, said they can't get to the tube station server, or tube system server. So it's funny. This is a brand new phone. I'm recording this. It's an iPhone 16. It's a brand new phone to me. I've never had an iPhone before. My daughter and wife have had it. Friends have had them. I've worked on them. I got an iPad. I've had an iPad for years. First time ever having an iPhone. The only reason that's pertinent is, in my infinite wisdom, I'm going through when I first get this thing, I'm setting it all up, and okay, I got to pick a ringtone that I like. I find this very nice piano melody ringtone. I go, oh man, that's nice. That's comforting. That's not going to make me crazy when my phone rings. And then same thing for the alarm. It's a different, but it's again a piano melody. I'm partial to piano because my wife and daughter both play piano. They both play lovely, by the way. So I just like hearing the piano. Well, the problem is when you're sleepy, you can't tell if it's the alarm or if it's the phone that's ringing, because the melodies are different, but it's the same piano is playing the two melodies. So 1:30 last night, I started hearing it, and I thought it was my alarm. So I dragged my sorry butt out of bed, and I stumble into the bathroom. I keep my phone in the bathroom. I don't want to keep it in the bedroom so it doesn't wake my wife up. Go in there and I hit the phone to silence it, start going about my business, and I thought, wait a minute, was that the alarm? And I looked at the phone. Up there's a voicemail, and it's the help desk. It's Raquel from the help desk, and Raquel says, hey, the central plant called. They need you to reset the tube system server. Normally I would just pick it up and talk to her, but I didn't have it. So it's 1:30 in the morning. 1:35 by now. Get my laptop, take it out of the bedroom because I don't want to wake my wife up. Go out into the kitchen, set up my laptop, connect via Global Protect to our Palo Alto firewall, get in, RDP to my, since my laptop at home is Linux, I use Remina into my Windows workstation here. And then I get into the, what's it called? vSphere. Get into vSphere, because that's what I'm going to reboot the thing from. Get into vSphere, and I open up a console window to the pneumatic tube server. And it's running. All the services are running. So I go to pull up the web page that they use to control it, and it says page cannot be displayed. Oh well, yeah, that's a problem. Something's wrong on the server. I'll just reboot it. So I reboot the server. Still can't get to the web page. Wait a minute. What's wrong here? It's rebooted. That should take care of everything. So I'm still pretty cloudy at by now 1:45 in the morning, 1:50, something like that. And then I look at the web address. It says PTS 16-01, which is the pneumatic tube system server number 1. And okay, and then I go back to the window, my remote desktop window that I have, vSphere window, remote console window. And I look at that again, and PTS 22-01, why isn't it working? Go back to the web window, PTS 16-01. Yeah. So it could have been working before, and the central plant just messed it up, but I know I messed it up because I was going to the old server's webpage. When I corrected that and changed it to PTS 22-01, and then the rest of the web address, it popped right up. I have the credentials, so I logged in, and I look, and there's a whole map of the tube system. I had to pull it up so you can see what it looks like. Hang on a second. While I keep talking, I'll pull that up. Hang on, because you guys want to see that, don't you? It's my username, something like that. My password is something like this. Similar. Yeah, it's now my display is all messed up from. I have two big displays here, and they get crunched down onto a laptop. It's not happy when I come back to work. Okay, let's go here. I'm gonna pull up this, and we're gonna look for that. Where is it? Pneumatic tube system. I gotta fix that. I have the wrong address in here. There we go. It's this thing called, hang on. I gotta make sure you guys don't see this info. So there's a couple things I wanna hide real quick. Like that. And yeah, I think I'll hide that. Oh, and I want to hide that. There we go. This is on-the-fly YouTube editing. So, we got this thing called Pevco. That's the name of the company that made it. Go in here. I'm going to log in. So this is basically it. Whoops, wait a minute, one more thing. Hide that. There we go. Basically hiding almost the entire screen. So this is what they see, and you can see right here, this one, this is a tube or a transaction that's moving through the system, and you can see where it's going, which it's headed over this way, and it's going up to station 9040 or a blower 9040. I don't know, where's it going? Here's station, no, that's a diverter. There's the lab. These guys right here, stations 40, 41, and 42 are the lab. And yeah, so this is what they watch and they monitor, and they can see the transactions moving through the system. So these blowers will suck them up out of these tube stations and then blow them back down into these tube stations. So there we go. It just got to the lab, it went to station 41, and now this one, they're sending a empty canister back to station 11, wherever that is. And oh yeah, they got five stations there at the lab. Yeah, they probably do have a lot. Anyway, fascinating, isn't it? I just wanted you to see what I'm talking about. Yeah. So anyway, after I rebooted it, after I got the correct address, this one, I still have the wrong address there. I got to go in and fix my link, my bookmark. And then I got in, checked it. Everything was working just fine. So at this point, I still hadn't contacted Raquel, who called me in the first place. And so I called her and said, hey, actually I texted her. She didn't answer. So then I don't want to call, because when you call our help desk, you have to go through a phone tree. And I don't have a direct line to these people. They're logged into the Cisco Finesse, so you can't call them directly anyway. You've got to call them through the Cisco system. So I called her, finally got a hold of her, 5-minute wait. And I tell her, hey, did you check your text messages? Because she hadn't. We could tell when they've been read, right? She hadn't read it. She goes, oh, no. I said, well, I rebooted the server. It looks like it's working for me. Tell you what, just tell them it should be working. And if it's not, then I don't know what else to do. All I know how to do is reboot the thing. And even this server, they need to call Pevco. If it's still not working after a reboot, they need to call the vendor. Pevco is the vendor. So she said, okay, I'll let you know. And like within 30 seconds, she had texted back and said, oh, they say it's working now. So they probably called her, said it's working now. Which I'm sure they thought it was magical, because no one had contacted them yet. Because I don't want to contact the end users if I don't have to when I'm on call, because I'm tired and I'm grumpy. I'd rather just deal with the IT staff rather than, get somebody else mad out there. So central plant, who's the central plant, by the way? So the central plant is, they got one that's stuck. That's what that sound is. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Probably can. So I am going to shut this down so we don't have to listen to that. The central plant actually are the folks that run the heating, ventilation, air conditioning, make the hot water and the cold water. It's all made about a block away from the hospital. They have boilers over there, and they have a big bank of chillers. I'll walk you guys through that one of these times. I don't know much about it, so I can't tell you much about it, but it's pretty cool. Lots of machines, guys like machines, right? So yeah, there's boilers, chillers, and aside from that, they also do all the monitoring for engineering. So overnight, when all the other engineers have gone home and they're tucked in their beds, if somebody calls engineering and says, hey, it's too hot in room 2401 here in the hospital, they can adjust that from over the central plant. if there's an engineering problem, like, hey, water leak or something, water leak sprung out here or something, you know, central plant will call an on-call engineer. And so they do all the centralized stuff, taking calls and dispatching and all that stuff. So that's a good word for it. They're dispatchers at night. And during the day, they just make hot and cold water and make hot and cold air. So that's what the central plant is. That's who called. This was why they called. And that was my on-call adventure last night. So thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, which wasn't much, it was mostly just me talking, and I appreciate your patience. But if you did like it, click the subscribe button, click the notification bell. Leave me a comment if you got any questions, concerns, answers. I'll go ahead and publish my email address again if you want to get a hold of me via email. Several people have asked, and only one person's actually emailed me, but it's networkadminlife@pm.me. That's networkadminlife, all one word, at papamike.mikeecho. All right, guys, thanks for watching. God bless. I'm going to finish my coffee and try to stay awake for the rest of the day. We'll see you guys all next time.